Call regular city council meeting Monday, March 24, 2014 to order. Clerk call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Here.
Ferrari.
Here.
Waldorf.
Here.
Lukosius.
Here.
Perez.
Here.
Radke.
Here.
Mueller.
Here.
Sapienza. Mayor Harrell.
Here. Pledge of allegiance. Do we have any presentations?
No, Your Honor. We do have a comment card, and it's actually for a presentation. So.
Okay, so we'll do them both at the same time. Presentation and a comment card. Ms. McKishka? Or the whole group, I think, is coming up.
Stand out here? Okay.
You get 5 of us for the money.
5 for the money. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. The Peru CSO was kind enough to do a raffle to benefit Friends for Peru Pool, and they have given us a check for $500, and we from the Friends for Peru Pool are presenting this to our city clerk to put in the Friends for Peru Pool fund. Thank you. Yeah, thank you to the CSO very much.
Do we have a motion to receive the regular meeting minutes, March 10th, 2014, placed on file?
So moved.
Second. The motion by Alderman Waller, second by Alderman Radke to receive the minutes and place on file. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Your Honor, I have one amendment.
Yes.
Under the long-term motion, I voted nay. It has me as voting yes.
I'll make that correction.
Thank you.
Is there any other discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Do you have a motion to receive the reports placed on file?
So moved, Your Honor.
Second.
I have a motion by Alderman Putoff, second by Alderman Radke to receive the reports placed on file. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Committee reports. Council and Finance, Alderman Putoff, Alderman Radke.
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to present to the Council total disbursements for March 22nd of the year 2014. The disbursements total $2,027,401.46. I'd like to make a motion these be received, placed on file, the bills paid in the usual manner.
A motion by Alderman Putoff, second by Alderman Radke to receive the disbursements for March 26, 2014. The bills paid in the usual manner. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor, I just want to point out the major expenditure is the IMAA for the electric power purchased, which was $1.2 million. So that's the major expenditure from the disbursements. That's all I had.
Any other discussion? Have a roll call vote. Clerk call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Motion approved.
Your Honor, I'd also like to announce that May 2nd Finance meeting will be held at 7 o'clock. We will hold that at 7 p.m. Give the Council a chance to hopefully our last review of the budget and any other financial matters that we need to take care of.
April 2?
Yeah, that'll be on that Wednesday at 7 p.m. That's all I had from the Council and Finance. Anything to add, Alderman Radke?
I don't. I think Alderman Waller, for the letter, is going to read later that we'll touch on. But.
Okay. Public Works, Alderman Waldorf, Alderman Lukosius.
Yes, Your Honor. Tonight I had the electric financial report for February of 2014. And during this period, we showed revenues over expenditures in the amount of $290,294.28. I'd like to make a motion that we accept this report and place it on file.
Second.
Have a motion by Alderman Lukosius, second by Alderman Waldorf to receive electric financial report for February 2014, placed on file. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Next, I have a motion to authorize the mayor to execute power of attorney agreement with Hertz Farm Management.
I'll second that, Your Honor.
Have a motion by Alderman Lukosius, second by Alderman Waldorf, to authorize the mayor to execute power of attorney agreement with Hertz Farm Management. Is there any discussion? Do a roll call. Do a roll call vote. Clerk call roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Motion approved.
Next, I have a motion to replace Jim Putoff on the IMEA board with Mayor Scott Harrell and authorize travel expenses related to that position.
Second, Your Honor.
Have a motion by Alderman Lukosius, second by Alderman Waldorf, to replace retiring Jim Putoff on the IMEA board with Mayor Scott Harrell and authorize travel-related expenses. Jim, what does that amount to? There's six times per year when there's a meeting, Wednesday and Thursday, so there's an overnight, and then...
Once a month, plus executive board meetings, right?
Right, the one that's Wednesday and Thursday. And then naturally mileage and whatnot, back and forth to Springfield. So, okay, there's a motion by Alderman Lukosius, second by Alderman Waldorf. Is there any discussion? Of a roll call vote, clerk call roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Nay.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Motion approved.
Next, Your Honor, I have the City of Peru Revenue and Expense Report as of Thursday, February 28th, as of February 28th, 2014. This report shows revenues over expenses of $151,861.29. I'd like to make a motion to receive this report and place it on file, please.
I'll second that, Your Honor.
Have a motion by Alderman Waldorf, second by Alderman Lukosius, to receive the water financial report for February 2014, placed on file. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Next, Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the mayor to execute a revised loan agreement with the IEPA for Area 4 and 6. Mike, do you have give me an update on that, please?
I believe all that they have done is finalize the final loan disbursement number, and that included the reimbursement to the city of, I can't recall, Clerk Bartley, $400 and some $1,000. So get your loan payments not $115,000 by semi-annually.
Thank you.
I'll second that motion.
Have a motion by Alderman Waldorf, second by Alderman Lukosius to authorize the mayor to execute revised loan agreement with the IEPA for Area 4 and 6. Is there any discussion? Have a roll call vote. Clerk call roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Motion carried.
Next, Your Honor, I would like to make a motion for approval of a third-party clearance monitoring for Kings in asbestos abatement work. Jeff, you want to tell us a little bit of what that's about?
Yeah, basically, as soon as the abatement company gets done with abating the asbestos in there, we have to hire a third-party contractor to go in and monitor to make sure that there's no asbestos left in there. So we have different sites that we have to monitor at. We don't have the total amount yet, but we shouldn't exceed $5,000 to do them all.
And that is a mandate that it has to be a third party, right?
From EPA, that's mandated from
Yes.
EPA.
I'll second that motion.
Have a motion by Alderman Waldorf, second by Alderman Lukosius, to approve third-party clearance monitoring for Kings Inn asbestos abatement repair. Is there any discussion?
Do we want to say not to exceed 5,000 or?
No.
Okay.
No, because
Sorry.
we haven't got the total amount of sites yet. When talking with the third-party contractor, he's guessing right around there. And we were waiting today. We were trying to get the total amount of sites today, and we didn't get them. So, but this is work that has to be completed. So.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Waldorf, second by Alderman Lukosius. If there's no further discussion, we'll have a roll call vote. Clerk call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Motion approved.
Your Honor, I have an email from Treasurer Hiley here that I'd like to read. It's rather lengthy, but I'm going to read it every word. So, Over the last couple of weeks, there have been several conversations concerning next fiscal year's infrastructure projects between myself, Treasurer Hyla, Alderman Waldorf, Alderman Radke, and Mr. Mike Perry. During the conversations, I have indicated how well the Water and Sewer Fund is reacting to the recapitalization plan that was approved by the council via the budget last year. The operating balance deficit has decreased this year from $1,697,370 to $387,552, and last month alone, the fund had a positive cash flow in the amount of $104,774. Besides the recapitalization plan, the fund has been helped this year by the receipt of the outstanding payments from the state for the final settlement of the Area 4 and 6 project, and the fact that the infrastructure improvements are now being paid by revenue received from the infrastructure home rule sales tax instead of the fund's currently improving cash flow stream. During our conversations, I have indicated to the two aldermen and Mr. Perry that I felt the fund could now support annually several infrastructure projects on its own. And Alderman Waldorf asked if it would be possible to start to improve the sewer infrastructure in the areas the community have experienced flood problems in the past. As of this morning, we have included into next year's budget the 28th Street and Sunset Drive sewer projects for an estimated cost of $170,000 and $150,000 respectively. Although I feel comfortable including the amount in next year's budget, the $320,000 combined cost of the projects should be considered as the upper limit of what we should cash flow out of the fund next year. The reason for this statement is that Chris Paris still has repair and maintenance issues that need to be addressed, and I would also like to experience additional periodic financial results so we can support and verify the opinion that the fund is continually improving financially. Mr. Perry's March 20th email indicated that the 2015 fiscal year infrastructure projects being bid total $2,775,800. This infrastructure improvement amount does not include the approved federal and state funding amounts for the following projects: the STU-funded Shooting Park Road project for $520,438, the FEMA-funded Water Street project for $502,295, plus what other funding may be in process for this project, or the Illinois Department of Aeronautics funded Airport Apron Rehabilitation project for $360,300. Once these three projects are added to the list, the city is in the process of bidding out. Once these three projects are added to the list, the city is in the process of bidding out or has already received funding for $4,158,833 in infrastructure projects for the next fiscal year. The infrastructure projects will be completed solely using cash on hand. I'll repeat that. The infrastructure projects will be completed solely using cash on hand, and the three grants received and no borrowed funds. I cannot think of a time for any other community our size that can make that statement. Over the last 5 years, we have collectively made major positive improvements to the financial position of the city, and the content of this email is further evidence of that improvement. Alderman Waldorf or Alderman Radke, please feel free to read this email at tonight's meeting or disclose its content in your own words, since this is something that we all should be very proud of, and we are. Thank you. That's all for Public Works.
Okay, thank you. Public Health and Safety, Alderman Ferrari, Alderman Sapienza.
Your Honor, I have the approved fire department report for the pay period ending March 15, 2014. The fire department responded to a total of 11 calls for that pay period, and there were also 2 of the monthly training sessions included in that period for a total payroll of $3,681.90. I'd like to make a motion to accept the report and place it on file.
Second, Your Honor.
I have a motion by Alderman Sapienza, second by Alderman Ferrari to receive approved fire department report for period ending March 15, 2014, placed on file. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
That's it for the reports for this period, Your Honor.
Public Property, Alderman Perez, Alderman Mueller.
Yes, Your Honor, I have the Peru Recreation Fund Report for period ending February 28th, 2014. Total funds available February 14th, 2014 was $38,615.85. We'd like to make a motion to accept this report and place it on file.
I'll second that.
I have a motion by Alderman Perez, second by Alderman Mueller to receive pre-recreation report, place on file. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried.
Your Honor, I have the Peru Public Library cash account summary for the period ending February 28th, 2014. Total funds available for the library fund are $352,561.62. I'd like to make a motion, we accept this report and place it on file.
I'll second that, Your Honor.
I have a motion by Alderman Mueller, second by Alderman Perez to receive Peru Public Library report for February 2014, place on file. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried.
Your Honor, next we have a motion to award landscape contract excluding downtown and Water Street planters and baskets per bid specifications to Specialty Landscape in the amount of $19,153.25, which includes watering and maintenance. I'd like
I'll
to make a
second
motion.
that.
Your Honor, didn't we just discuss this in the last meeting?
What's that?
This was to be tabled for clarification.
Correct.
As of our discussion.
Just in the previous meeting.
I thought we were in agreement to go forward with it.
No? No, we weren't. We were looking for some clarification.
What clarification were you looking for? I believe
I think it was Alderman.
Chief Burnaby didn't. What was the questions?
Well, on the assumptions that, certain things are gonna be done. One outfit put it in the bid, the other outfit didn't.
Is there anything you can address with that, Chief Burnaby? I believe we had any clarification.
I think the only question that I think of was Alderman Radke wanted to know about the warranty, and I confirmed with Specialty they will warranty the perennials and the annuals.
Okay. How are you gonna break out the volunteer deal?
That was going to be the baskets and the downtown planters. The volunteers were going to take care of that, do the planting through the month of April, and the city was going to have the summer helpers do the watering.
When we discussed this, we talked about $48,000 to break out those planters with Specialty compared to Peru Greenhouse. And I thought we had said that broke down into about $2,000 per basket. Remember, we talked about that at our last meeting.
The total cost was going to be $48,000.
Well, there's a $48,000 difference, and the only thing that was broken out were the planters.
Correct.
And
that's why we thought
wanted some
there
clarification on
further clarification of why the large discrepancy in that.
We're not going with Peru Greenhouse, though. They're the ones with the discrepancy.
That was what we were talking about. There needs to be clarification. You popped this on us from our last meeting that we had, and there were a few members of the audience that were here. Excuse me, I'm still talking.
Alderman Sapienza.
Alderman Perez, I have the floor right now. Excuse me.
The audience, your voice carries quite a bit. Please be quiet.
You had said at the previous meeting where Peru and Simplicity were in, you had said at that meeting that you thought that Peru sounded very good because the other one didn't have enough information. And I, who am very much in favor of volunteers, you said at that meeting that the volunteers would not be available this year. You also said that that was a professional group that we were talking to in the other meeting. And you also said there that you had no professionals in your organization. You said that at our meeting.
Are you finished? Okay. That was 3 weeks ago, Alderman Sapienza. Since then, I was able to form a group and contact the ones that are willing to help that are professionals.
And who might that be, the professional?
Tom Reardon is probably one of our main ones he works for TNT Landscape. He's one of them. And there were two young ladies, I don't have their names with me offhand, but they helped us last year. They did the police department, and they are actually educators in planting flowers.
Well, my suggestion is that
So-
we look into this a little
So
further.
we're not going to spend $48,000 just to do 20 planters and I think it was 28 planters and 20 hanging baskets. That's $48,000 we're not going to spend that kind of money on. Volunteers can do it.
We don't know that we're spending it for that.
We know it's $48,000. We either spend $19,000 on specialty to have them do the landscape and the volunteers do the downtown planters and Water Street, or we hire Peru Greenhouse to do it for $67,000, which is a total difference of $48,000. That's where it comes in.
And we don't know specifically what the two are going to do. We don't. We
That's-
just said that at our last
Yes,
meeting.
We had contacted Peru Greenhouse, and they didn't want to itemize for us. We contacted them last week, so that's where we're at.
I have nothing further.
So I just want to clarify it myself, is tonight you want to give specialty the contract, and then the volunteers will be taking care of the planters and baskets, right?
Yes, Alderman.
Okay,
Yes, Alderman.
that's what I thought.
Okay, we have a motion, a second, motion by Alderman Perez, second by Alderman Mueller. If there's no further discussion, we'll have a roll call vote. Clerk call roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari. Aye. Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
No.
Motion approved.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, nothing further from public property? Okay, report to city attorney, ordinances, resolutions.
First, you have the second report. As you recall, the CVS Pharmacy Development had the initial hearing, and then that was moved to adjourn to a date certain to March 12th, of which further evidence was deuced. All Planning Commission members were present except Stewart and Ben Venuti. All Zoning Board of Appeals members present except Miller. Andrew Kolb's the attorney for the petitioner, and he's here this evening. We're just dividing it into a two-lot subdivision. The old Jewel store will be torn down and turned into a green space. At the same time, the CVS Pharmacy is constructed. Also, the old Pizza Hut Family Pride Cleaner building and the building to the south of it, which has community lenders on. I believe previously it might have been Dr. Donahue's chiropractic practice. That will also be raised at the same time. Mr. Kolb stated it's important to maintain the existing pylon sign that's been there for quite some time, both economically and as an attraction to business. The petition with attached preliminary and final plats were introduced into evidence. Bradley Prichman, he's a professional civil engineer with V3 Companies, was engaged as the professional engineering firm for the site. He stated the majority of the parking for the new CVS would be north of the existing Jewel store, which is being raised. The CVS building would be standalone with a drive-through to compete with the Walgreens across the street. 2 rows of parking on one side and 3 rows on the other. The existing North Drive off Mall Road will be maintained, as will the existing parking during construction, because the present CVS store will remain open and operating. Mr. Prichman stated that there would be one-way traffic flow through the drive-through. The layout of the new proposed store and the proposed ingress-egress is the standard building layout and traffic floor for CVS pharmacies throughout the country. He stated the main entrance to the store would be at the northwest corner because they want the front of the store visible to the Shooting Park Road, Illinois Route 251 traffic. He stated that they've applied to the Illinois Department of Transportation for a right turn only off northbound Illinois Route 251 traffic, but he has no indication of whether or not that will be approved. He stated there is presently no stormwater detention on the site, and all the area to be improved by the new CVS pharmacy is already hard surfaced. He stated that now the water that drains over the hard surface of the storm sewer to the east will be picked up by an underground storm sewer and will be connected to that existing storm sewer. There'll be less ice and trip and fall hazards by collecting and taking that water directly into the existing storm sewer. He stated that in his opinion as a professional engineer, there will be less stormwater runoff from the proposed site than there is from the existing site, because the proposed site adds over 10% green space, so there'll be less impervious area with the new development. In response to questioning from Member Biederstedt, Mr. Prischman stated that CVS will be the owner and developer of the site. Cody Herbster, Vice President of Real Estate Development at TM Crowley and Associates, stated his firm's been engaged by CVS, and he confirmed that the CVS will be the developer of the site with a surplus group holding title. An entity within a surplus group is either wholly owned by CVS or a direct affiliate. Mr. Herbster also confirmed the demolition of the former Jewel Store, Family Pride Cleaners, and Community Lenders buildings. He stated CVS is purchasing the property subject to some existing leaseholds to some other tenants within the complex, and those leases must be honored. Member Biederstedt requested the February 14, 2014 minutes of the Design and Review Committee be entered into evidence. Member Basali stated the open 24-hour sign is too big and confusing. He suggested that that sign be placed on the same panel as under the CVS sign. Member Biederstedt suggested the top of the existing pylon sign be removed, and he introduced an evidence of proposed reduced sign height. Robert Johnson, a member of the Design and Review Committee, stated that committee approved everything except the existing pylon sign, which was estimated at 40 feet, but in fact after measurements 38 feet 3 inches. And he says that's almost double the height restrictions under the existing ordinance, and he suggested taking off the top panel. And members Biederstedt stated the existing pylon sign is one of the higher signs in the city, and shorter sign would be more attractive. He stated the existing Walgreens sign across the street is 25 feet in height, Dex 23.5, McDonald's 36 feet, Shimmer 30 feet, Heartland Bank 20.9, with the Centru Bank sign at 40 feet being the only other higher sign in the area. Members Atkinson and Harrington both noted that the existing sign has not been a problem for over 30 years, so they question why it should be an issue now. Member Mullins stated the Illinois Route 251 intersection is a prime commercial corner within the city. He would like to see signs to be generally lower, but this pylon sign already exists and has never been an issue. He noted the Becks has previously been given approval to raise the height of their sign. Attorney Kolb stated the petitioner was not subdividing the site into 2 lots. No variance on the pylon sign would be necessary because it would be grandfathered under the existing ordinance. He again stated the height of the existing sign is very important to the petitioner. It was the most important factor in deciding to develop the site. He stated the sign would otherwise be much more attractive than the existing sign because 3 feet of masonry will be added at the bottom of the sign with brick compatible to the building, and the sign will otherwise be refurbished. Member Grabowski stated that this is an existing sign, otherwise he would take some issue with the height. There are no objectors other than Mr. Johnson at the hearing. The Zoning Board of Appeals recommended all the variances except the height of the sign. Member Biederstedt voted nay. The Plan Commission approved the subdivisions and also a waiver of the stormwater on-site requirements.
Do we have a motion to receive the minutes and place on file?
So moved, Your Honor.
Second, Your Honor.
Have a motion by Alderman Putoff, second by Alderman Ferrari to receive the minutes and place on file. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried.
First, you have an ordinance approving the preliminary plat, be it ordained preliminary plat of CVS Pharmacy Additional City approved dated December 20, 2013 is prepared by Anthony J. Strickland, Illinois professional land surveyor, under by direction of the owner of the premises described therein. It's hereby approved and accepted.
Your Honor.
Alderman Ferrari.
I'll make a motion. We accept the ordinance as written and read.
I'll second that, Your Honor.
Have a motion by Alderman Ferrari, second by Alderman Mueller to approve the ordinance as written and read. Is there any discussion? Have a roll call vote. Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Prokocius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Motion approved.
You have ordinance approving the final plat, be ordained final plat of subdivision CVS Pharmacy Addition, City approved, dated January 24, 2014, is prepared by Anthony J. Strickland, Illinois professional land surveyor, and by direction of the owner of the premises described therein, is hereby approved and accepted.
Your Honor,
Alderman Ferrari.
I'll make a motion to accept the ordinance as written and read.
I'll second that, Your Honor.
Have a motion by Alderman Ferrari, second by Alderman Mueller to accept the ordinance as written and read. Is there any discussion? Have a roll call vote. Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Motion approved.
You have an ordinance waiving the stormwater detention requirements for the site, which was the recommendation of the Plan Commission. City Council finds it determines it advisable and best interest to waive on-site stormwater detention requirements for the property because A, the development is presently all paved without any stormwater detention. 2, the new development, CVS Pharmacy, will have over 10% of presently paved areas and green areas. Therefore, there will be less stormwater runoff than from the existing site. 3, a new CVS development will install an underground stormwater sewer along the north perimeter to connect the existing storm sewer to the east. And at the hearings, professional engineer opined that the new development will result in less stormwater runoff in the existing site. Now therefore be it ordained, property is hereby granted waivers of subdivision ordinance, stormwater detention requirements provided by section 11.09 of subdivision ordinance.
Do we have a motion to receive the ordinance?
So moved, Your Honor.
Second, Your Honor.
Have a motion by Alderman Ferrari, second by Alderman Mueller to receive the ordinance as written and read. Is there any discussion? Have a roll call vote. Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Motion approved. Bob, Economic Development, did you want to say a few things? I know Mr. Kolb is here from CVS.
Andy, were you okay with the variances under the ordinance?
Thank you, Alderman, for your support of the new CVS Pharmacy at Shooting Park Road and 251. We do have with us, as Corporate Councilor Schweikert mentioned, Andrew Kolb is right here to represent CVS, and we'd ask him to say a few words.
I just want to thank everyone involved in the process. Bob's been a pleasure to work with. I think we do development all over. I do personally in 3 states, and I have to say that your staff and your EDC here are just a pleasure to work with, and it really, I think there's some great people here inviting development. CVS is really happy to spend the money in the community. They're excited about it. It's a big development. It's just not a standalone store, but they're also going to redevelop the entire shopping center at a pretty big cost at the time. So we were happy to have such great professionals, as I mentioned, staff, your attorney, your engineer, and the pledge of this development. So appreciate it.
Again, we all appreciate CVS coming here. What do you anticipate as far as increased sales by having the new store, more square feet, everything that you want?
The drive-through is really the most important. The 24-hour drive-through with access is really the most important thing for CVS. The pharmacy actually drives the sales for the retail. So they anticipate an increase, and they're looking forward to developing the rest of the site with similar retailers. Usually when someone like CVS puts a new building in, we have about a dozen or so retailers that will follow, that like to be in the general vicinity depending upon the lot size and the traffic count and the car counts and the demographics of developing in the area. And there's actually some residential nearby, so they're excited with all the different possibilities, but we anticipate business will continue to increase.
I just want to thank you. You know, the Pizza Hut, the empty pizza building has been kind of blighted for years, and you guys don't have to tear that down. We're doing it anyway, so I want to pass on our thanks to them for doing that.
No, we had to tear that down. Bob made that very clear. So that was.
There was other discussions, Alderman Radke.
It's alternative.
Well, there's a lot of things.
We know your motives, Bob.
Well, we're happy to have you.
Alderman Radke, you're too young. To you, it's Family Pride Cleaners. It's us old people that was Pizza Hut. Then we have an ordinance granting the variances, be it ordained, following variances. You have off-premises monument that'll be on Lot 2 and CVS Pharmacy be on Lot 1. You have the off-premises signs for the future and existing shopping center tenants that will be on sub-panels under the main CVS sign on the main pylon. Depicting those businesses. Also have a 24-hour electronic message board for scrolling and intermittent messages. The total signage 825 square feet, 2 freestanding signs on CVS Lot 2. The advertisers from the Lot 1, which would be other tenants, will be able to have those panels on the main pylon sign. The freestanding sign would have 360 square feet in surface area instead of limited to 100 feet as provided under the zoning ordinance. That sign would be 40 feet in height instead of otherwise limited. We have all the ingress, egress, open signs, and traffic directional flow signs as presented in the petition approval.
Is there a motion to approve the ordinance as written and read?
Moved, Your Honor.
Second, Your Honor.
Motion by Alderman Ferrari, second by Alderman Mueller to approve the ordinance as written and read. Is there any discussion? Have roll call vote. Clerk call roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf. Aye. Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Next, you have ordinance amending the previous ordinance, which appointed Chief and Chief King as temporary co-superintendents of public works, and other duties will be expanded to manage personnel on a temporary basis also of the electric department after the retirement of Jim Putoff. So you passed that previous ordinance, and now they would handle also the scheduling, management, and supervision of electric department personnel. There's no additional compensation to be paid, and again, they would serve at the pleasure of the mayor so long as they're willing to serve without additional compensation. The appointment of the permanent electric department manager, a similar position has been filled, or July 1, 2014, whichever first occurs.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion that we accept the ordinance as written and read.
And I'll second that.
I have a motion by Alderman Waldorf, second by Alderman Lukosius to approve the ordinance as written and read. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor, I just wanted to relay my sentiments again. I certainly appreciate the willingness, and I'm not slighting the abilities of Chief King and Chief Burnby. I think they have a lot to handle currently. And I believe when you're looking at the electric department, you're looking at a lot of technical issues that come up with it. And it's in my opinion that we currently right now have capable people within the department of running it. And even if running it on a short-term basis till July 1st would give a great experience or to see what we have. But it's just my opinion we should look in-house or in department for somebody that's willing to do it. And I know that we do have second in charge, a person who is both willing and has the ability to run the department.
Okay.
I'm also reluctant to approve this. What I'd like to hear is assurance that there's a permanent plan in the works at some level.
There's nothing at this time.
Yeah.
Nobody's come up with anything.
I could also mirror what Alderman Putoff and Alderman Radke have to say.
Okay, once again, nobody's come up with a plan. We are currently asking for an engineer. As everyone knows, we're advertising for that, but I don't know of one. Somebody has to come up with the plan.
It is a temporary appointment, which will expire July 1st. And I don't think we have too many options in front of us right now. The second in command up there he's pretty much willing, but I don't think he really wants the administrative part of it.
Okay, we have a motion and a
I think we
second.
work on a permanent plan.
Of course. Well, I think we are. We've got advertisements now for that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We'll have a roll call vote. Clerk call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Nay.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Nay.
Radke.
Nay.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Okay, motion approved.
Next, you have an ordinance authorizing execution of a second rider to the scavenger and recyclable agreement, which was a original contract for the extended period. Last year was the first rider to provide also for the yard waste pickup, and this second rider provides for the yard waste pickup for this year, April 7, 2014 to November 24, 2014. And it's actually a little decrease. And last year we had 30. There are more pickups this year.
28 and 34.
Same, however, there's...
Yeah, actually, the price per pickup is somewhat reduced because you have a few less meters. So it's actually cheaper per pickup than it was last year. And for this period, April 7, 2014, November 24, 2014, those yard waste will be picked up on Mondays, and that's a cost of $32,608.61.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the ordinance written and read?
So moved.
Second, Your Honor.
Have a motion by Alderman Putoff, second by Alderman Lukosius to approve the ordinance as written and read. Is there any discussion? Have a roll call vote. Clerk call roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke. Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Motion approved.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Unfinished business.
Your Honor, I have a couple of things. With the reading of Gary, or Treasurer Hyla's email and the proof that we have the money on hand, I'd like to get on the agenda for our next meeting to start the engineering process and do the 28th and Depot Drive sewer and the 150-foot sag in St. John's Addition and give those people some relief up there. I would ask the council's approval. When that motion comes up, I think it's time that people can sleep up in that area when they hear rain on their roof. So I would like to put that on the agenda, please.
Will do.
Also, I have an ordinance in front of me, an ordinance providing for professional fee agreement for developers and projects. It's advisable in the best interest of the city that those fees and expenses be appropriately incurred by or charged back to the developers. So I think we need to get that on the books, and I'd like to have that placed on the agenda for next meeting.
That was passed last meeting.
Was passed last week?
Yes.
Was I here last week? Okay.
We are all,
Sorry about that.
we're all over
Sorry to
that
waste
one.
your time, yeah. That's all I have.
Any other unfinished business?
Just with the sewers, I still want to encourage people to take advantage of the separation program. I don't know how many people we've had, 20, 30 ballpark. So really that was the way to guarantee yourself of not an issue was to follow the separation program developed by Mr. Perry. So I think most people are satisfied.
Could we also set up a meeting before, like we did with, let the public know we're gonna have a meeting and discuss the sewer problems and that?
I'm all for that.
Will this take care of the entire problems in the north section? Or that limited area? No, the flood program.
Replacing the sewers to a larger sewer on 28th and Depot.
The 28th Depot sewer will absolutely improve the situation in the neighborhood directly west of Marquette Road, right in 28th. But it won't solve the entire problem. We still have a number of footing piles directly connected to the groundwater table. until we get enough water out of that system to reduce that capacity of water, there's going to be a risk.
So that goes back to Alderman Radke's statement about separating at the home level.
Currently have 18.
How many people were on the list that had water the last April? 65, 70, 75? And only 18 have taken advantage of that? Okay. Any other unfinished business? New business?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to mention, now that the snow's cleared and the weather's shaping up, we're going to put a volunteer group together to do a citywide cleanup on April 5th. I'll be posting and giving an update on that during the next meeting, but we're shooting for Saturday, April 5th for a citywide cleanup. I have nothing further.
Any other new business?
Yes, Your Honor, scheduled an electronics recycling day for May the 17th, which will be from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m.
So Saturday, May 17th?
Yep.
Saturday, from 9 a.m.?
Electronics recycling, and maybe point out, so there's no misunderstanding with the media, on behalf of Alderman Perez, that citywide cleanup day doesn't mean a citywide take all your trash to the curb, because the city's going to pick it up day.
This
More
is
of
trash
a
cleanup.
litter oriented, correct?
Litter-oriented, that's correct.
Okay, any further new business? Proclamations?
None, Your Honor.
Petitions, communications?
Yes, Your Honor. First communication is from the Park and Recreation Board President Ray Zabrowski requesting a Touch a Truck event at Centennial Park on Saturday, June 14th from 12 to 4 with a rain date of June 21st and closing 13th Street between West and Putnam Streets.
Are they just going to put the trucks on 13th Street, I hope?
The letter says, as we all know, all kids like playing and being around trucks and emergency vehicles. Touch a Truck gives a kid and their parents a hands-on, up-close look at both the outside and inside of different vehicles. We're looking at such vehicles as a wrecker, cement truck, tractor trailer, dump truck, military vehicle, mining, construction. We ask all vehicle owners to stay with their vehicles during the event, and the council permission to close off. And they'll also have some inflatable games and refreshments, no alcohol. They're not really, some lighter vehicles may need to be parked in the park.
That answers my question right there. Thank you.
I'll make a motion that we grant permission, provided there is no conflict.
I'll second that, Your Honor.
Have a motion by Alderman Mueller, second by Alderman Perez, to receive the communication, place on file, and grant permission. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, signify by aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carried.
Next communication is from Operation Promise Run Committee requesting permission to hold a 5K Color Fun Run Walk at Baker Lake on Sunday, June 22nd.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Second, Your Honor.
Have a motion by Alderman Putoff, second by Alderman Mueller, to receive the communication from Operation Promise Run Committee for a 5K Color Fun Walk on June 22nd. Then there's another one on here for another run walk. I'd just like to remind again, Clerk Bartley, to let them know when you say it's been granted, no painting on any of our, it has to be tape or something that's removable, no painting.
I read the details of your communication, Alderman Perez, and I think that's...
Thank you.
Good idea.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. If there's no further discussion, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Next communications from Jim Beard of Beard Brothers requesting a special use for the property located at 1612 4th Street.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion that we receive this communication and turn it over to zoning and planning boards for further review.
I'll second that.
Have a motion by Alderman Waldorf, second by Alderman Sapienza, to receive the communication from Jim Beard of Beard Brothers requesting special use. Receive it, place it on file, and turn it over to planning and zoning for review and recommendation. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Last, I have a communication from Teresa Ellerbrock requesting permission to hold a run walk fundraiser on September the 14th at 9 a.m., beginning at Ellie's Tap, with the use of the adjacent park and ending at Ellie's Tap, with proceeds going to Cops for Cancer.
Do you have a route?
They do not have a route yet. She said that they're at the beginning stages of getting a certified route that they'll provide as soon as they get it.
I'll make a motion, we give them permission to have it.
I'll second that.
Have a motion by Alderman Ferrari, second by Alderman Mueller to grant permission, receive, place on file, and grant permission for the Run Walk fundraiser on September 14th, 2014. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Any further petitions, communications?
None, Your Honor. Thank you.
Your Honor, could I just mention that our committee as a whole was very beneficial, and I think it was a great move forward. Thank you.
What's everybody think? I would like to do that at a minimum of once a month. I'd rather do it before every meeting, but once a don't look at me like we'll see. And, you know, once we start having them before our council meetings, you know, we might not even need to be here at 6:30. We might be able to do it at 7. We'll see what's on the plate. Public comment. Do we have any public comment? Do we have any public comment tonight? Well, come on up.
I'd like to see something done with the News Tribune. Papers are all over town. You said something, but it's been about 7 years. I go from Shooting Park Road to Route 6 down Pulaski, and there's at least 36 papers along the sidewalk, in the street, and in people's yards. There's ordinance that says no person shall throw, deposit, or dump litter, or hire anybody to throw, deposit, or dump litter from except in the public land. So there's ordinance for throwing stuff in the vehicle. Just needs to be enforced. Nobody wants them. Nobody takes them. They just sit there. They go in the sewer, in the lawnmowers. They're all different colors. At least they're spring colors, but it looks like crap. Ordinances are section 90-42 and on.
Okay.
I will go ahead and contact the News Tribune tomorrow since I'm on the Public Property Committee, and maybe I can reach out to someone.
Okay. I saw another hand up. Art was first.
This evening, I've heard concern of qualifications of the co-superintendents in the electrical field. And it seemed like everything went along fine. Now, with the foreman of the electrical department retiring and not having anyone hired to replace him, I'd like to know how much of the IMEA board meeting is technical and how much is administrative. And therefore, what are the mayor's qualifications?
Thank you, Art.
You're welcome.
Okay, other public comment?
This goes back to the 4 and 6 area project. This price was originally $6,116,000. Or excuse me, this is what it ended up being. The contract price was $5,800,000. A payment of approximately $1.4 million was due in June of 2013. Was that payment made?
No, these are the first we've seen of the loan documents to start repayment process.
So now we're going to pay $115,000 semi-annually, and you all voted for it. Can you tell me for how many years? I would like to ask them since they voted for it.
No, this is a public comment. You can have the information, but this is a public comment. Thank you for the comment. But to ask for information, I don't know if everybody has it on the tip of their
Somebody
tongue.
voted for something, they should be knowing what they're voting for.
Once again, it's public comment, Mr. Hart.
Dave, how many years is it for?
It's for 20 years.
19 and a half, actually.
And you got $400,000 back, and it was only 1.4 that was due out of the original contract, which was actually stated. That turns out to be a little bit more.
Any other public comment? Any other public comment? Okay, I don't know of a closed session. Does anybody have a closed session requirement? Okay, do we have a motion for adjournment?
So moved, Your Honor.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Ferrari, second by Alderman Radke for adjournment. All in favor signify by aye. All opposed? Meeting adjourned.